Assalamu alaikum. Muslims believe that the Holy Quran was revealed by the Almighty Creator through an angel, Jibreel alayhi assalam, to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Today we are going to discuss about some scientific discoveries. The first one is the Big Bang. The whole universe was initially one big mass, that is, primary nebula. Then there was a Big Bang, secondary separation, which resulted in the formation of galaxies. These then divided to form stars, planets, sun, moon, etc. This is what a Big Bang is. But the Holy Quran says about the Big Bang 1400 years ago in chapter number 21, verse number 30. Do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together as one unit of creation before we clove them as under? Who could have written about it 1400 years ago? Is it possible for any human being to write this thing in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago? If not, then who can have the best knowledge about any creation? It is its creator. Then who can have the best knowledge about this Big Bang? It is its creator. We Muslims call him Allah. Now the second one is, shape of this earth is spherical. Sir Francis Drake sailed around the earth and proved that the earth is spherical in 1597. But the Holy Quran says in chapter number 79, verse number 30, and the earth moreover has he made egg-shaped. And here the Arabic word for egg used is dahaha, which refers to the egg of an ostrich. Today we have come to know that the shape of this earth is not only spherical, it is geospherical, and the shape of the egg of an ostrich is exactly geospherical. So who could have written this in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago, if not its creator? Now the next one. Sun and moon rotates on its own axis. In 1612, Galileo Galilei discovered that the sun rotates on its own axis, and in 1693 Giovanni Domenico Cassini first discovered about the rotation of moon. But the Holy Quran says in chapter number 21, verse number 33, it is he who created the night and the day, and the sun and the moon. All the celestial bodies swim along, each in its rounded course. The Arabic word which is used in the above verse is yasbahun, which is derived from the word sabaha, It means the motion of a moving body. So, who could have written this in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago, if not its creator? Now the next one is the expanding universe. In 1920s, Edwin Hubble provided the evidence that we live in an expanding universe. But the Holy Quran says 1400 years ago in chapter number 51, verse number 47, that with power and skill did we construct the firmament, for it is we who create the vastness of space. The Arabic word used here is mushiyun, which can be translated as expanding it. So it shows that the universe is expanding. Who could have written this in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago, if not its creator? Now the next one is water cycle. In 1957, meteorologist Jacob L. Bonavi Churtness discovered the water cycle. But the Holy Quran says 1400 years ago in chapter number 86, verse number 11, about the first step, surface water to evaporation, that is, by the firmament which returns in its round. It means the evaporation. Furthermore, it says in chapter number 15, verse number 22, about the evaporation to cloud to rain. And we send the fecundating winds, then cause the rain to descend from the sky, therewith providing you with water in abundance. The Arabic word used here is lawaqi, which is the plural of laqi, from lakaha, which means to impregnate or fecundate. In this context, impregnate means that the wind pushes the clouds together, increasing the condensation that causes lightning and thus rain. So, the Holy Quran is mentioning about the water cycle 1400 years ago. Who could have written about this if not its creator? Now the next one is barrier between salt and sweet water. Recently, oceanologists have written in their book relating to ocean, that is Oceanography Davis 92 to 93, that what distinguishes freshwater from saltwater in estuaries is a pinocline zone with a marked density discontinuity separating the two layers. So it's talking about a pinocline zone, and the Holy Quran says about it 1400 years ago in chapter number 55, verse number 19 to 20, that He has let free the two bodies of flowing water meeting together. Between them there is a barrier which they do not transgress. So it is talking about the pinocline zone. Who could have written about it 1400 years ago, if not its creator? The Holy Quran also says about it in chapter number 27, verse number 61, and made a separating bar between the two bodies of flowing water. Now the next one is mountains protect earth from shaking. Recently we have come to know that mountains act like stakes or tent pegs that hold the earth's crust and give it stability. And the Holy Quran says about it 1400 years ago. In chapter number 78, verse 6 to 7, have we not made the earth as a wide expanse and the mountains as pegs? The word used outside refers to stakes or pegs. Furthermore, the Holy Quran says in chapter number 21, verse number 31, and we have set on the earth mountains standing firm, lest it should shake with them. Recently we have come to know about it, that the pegs like mountains give the earth stability. So who could have written this in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago, if not its creator? Now the next thing is embryology. Embryology was vastly discovered in around 1700, but the Holy Quran says about it 1400 years ago in chapter number 96, verse 1 to 2. Read in the name of your Lord and Cherisher, who created man out of a mere clot of congealed blood. The Arabic word used here is alaq. It means a congealed clot of blood. It also means something that clings, and it also means it has a third meaning, that is a leech-like substance. And now we have come to know that all these three meanings are absolutely correct. And if you match the diagram of a leech and of an embryo, it matches absolutely. It matches completely. So, who could have written all these things in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago? Is it possible for any human being to write this thing or write all these things in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago? Is it possible? The Holy Quran also says about the embryological stages in chapter number 23, verse 12 to 14, that man we did create from a quintessence of clay. Then we placed him as a drop of sperm in a place of rest, firmly fixed. Then we made the sperm into a clot of congealed blood. Then of that clot we made a fetus lump. Then we made out of the lump bones and clothed the bones with flesh. Then we developed out of it another creature. So blessed be Allah, the best to create. So who could have written this in the Holy Quran? Is it possible for any human being to write all these messages, all these discoveries in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago, which are just being discovered?
Descriptions of the human embryo in the Quran cannot be based on scientific knowledge in the 7th century. The only reasonable conclusion is that these descriptions were revealed to Muhammad from God.
Now the next one is sun will extinguish one day. Around the last 20 years, a research was done by England's University of East Anglia that the sun is going to be extinguished one day, but the Quran says about it 1400 years ago. In chapter number 36, verse number 38, and the sun runs its course for a period determined for it. That is the decree of Him the Exalted in might, the All-Knowing. Who could have written about it 1400 years ago, if not its creator? Now the next one is atoms can be divided. In 1897, Joseph John Thomson of United Kingdom discovered that atom can be divided. But the Holy Quran says about it 1400 years ago that the unbelievers say, never to us will come the hour. Say, nah, but most surely by my Lord it will come upon you by Him who knows the unseen, from whom is not hidden the least little atom in the heavens or on earth, nor is there anything less than that or greater, but is in the record, the spacious, in chapter number 34, verse number 3. So here, the verse clearly shows that it is possible for something smaller than the atom to exist. A fact which has been discovered by science just recently. Now the next thing is blood circulation and milk. Sir William Harvey discovered about the blood circulation system and milk in 1600, but the Holy Quran says about it 1400 years ago. In chapter number 16, verse number 66. And verily in cattle there is a lesson for you. We give you to drink of what is inside their bodies, coming from a conjunction between the contents of the intestine and the blood, a milk pure and pleasing for those who drink it. Who could have written this in the Holy Quran, if not its creator? From whom could Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gather all these messages? Now the next thing is darkness in depths of ocean. Recently, oceanologists have written in the book Oceanology, Gross, page 242 and 244, that there is darkness in the depths of ocean. And the Quran says about it in chapter number 24, verse number 40. Or the unbeliever's state is like the depths of darkness in a vast deep ocean, overwhelmed with topped by dark clouds, depths of darkness, one above another. If a man stretches out his hands, he can hardly see it. For any to whom Allah giveth not light, there is no light. Who could have written about it 1400 years ago, if not its creator? Now the next thing is, there is pain receptor in our skin. In 1906, Charles Scott Sherrington discovered this thing, but the Holy Quran says about it 1400 years ago. In chapter number 4, verse number 56. Those who reject our signs we shall soon cast into the fire. As often as the skins are roasted through, we shall change them for fresh skins, that they may taste the penalty. For Allah is exalted in power, wise. Who could have written about it 1400 years ago, if not its creator? Who can have the best knowledge about any creation? Who can have the best knowledge about it that in our skin we have pain receptor? Who could have delivered all this message to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Who could have known better than the Creator about this creation? Who could have written all these things in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago, if not its Creator? Now the next thing is fingerprints. Dr. Henry Fowles of Britain discovered using fingerprints as a means of identification in the year 1870. But the Holy Quran says about it 1400 years ago. In chapter number 75, verse number 3 to 4. Does man think that we cannot assemble his bones? Nah, we are able to put together in perfect order the very tips of his fingers. Who could have written this thing in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago? Who? Is it possible for any human being to write all these things in the Holy Quran 1400 years ago, which are just being discovered by the scientists? If not, then who can have the best knowledge about any creation? It is obviously its creator. Then who can have the best knowledge about all these creations that we have just been discussed? It is obviously its creator, and we Muslim call him Allah. So who revealed the Holy Quran to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Who revealed the Holy Quran to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He is our Almighty Creator, and we Muslim call him Allah. Now we are going to prepare a graph using its number of surahs against its number of verses, and we will see which word reveals in front of us. And the word which reveals in front of us is Allah.